Hey, I'm Nick of Books Are Sick, here with another desk video at my desk, and we're going to have a conversation where I do all the talking, so settle in. I have some book stuff to tell you about today. Shocking. This is what this channel is it's books. I can probably stop mentioning that that's what I'm going to talk about, but that is what we're going to talk about. I've had a bit of a strange start to my month this month, and that is because the two books that I've read so far this month have not, one I honestly really didn't care for. And the other one I had a fun time reading, but it wasn't really quite for me. And so we're going to get into those. And the reason that's weird is because, most of the times the books that I read, I at least like them. And I think the reason for that is because, I've only been reading books for about 3 years now. And I feel like I'm pretty good at being able to tell which books I'm going to enjoy. And those are the books that I read. I feel like this one is for me. I feel like I'm going to like this. I read it. Typically that is the case. And that's just because I have such a crazy Rolodex of books that I can still choose from, because I am still new into it, so I can still read books like Frankenstein and it's fresh and it's like, wow, this is really good. So that's been a lot of fun, but we'll get into it. I've got some other stuff to tell you about. I'm going to show you my 10 before the end here. These are 10 books that I'm hoping to read before January, maybe like January 7th, because the Christmas break, holiday break will still be going until then. So I feel like that kind of counts, but this is going to be my 10 before the end of the break, let's say. Man, I have this cactus here. This friggin' thing, dude, it was so dry and it was above my bed. And the other day, my kid was on my bed and it was so cold and it was late and I went to grab the blanket and just kind of like do a whoosh of the blanket, and the corner of the blanket hit the cactus thing and it tipped and all this dry dirt just went all over my kid, all over the bed. And it was just like, oh man, yeah, it was just like one of those like, anyways, still alive, but that was annoying. Let's do this first. Let's do this book review first here. I'm going to talk about this one. This is the one that I didn't super care for, but before I get into it, I just please read it if you think you're going to like it. Don't take my reviews with any sort of, validity because it's not, oh, my dog's barking. Mailman's here probably. Yep. This is a lot of times I recommend books and people hate them and I love them. And a lot of the times people recommend books that I don't like and they love. It's just the way it is, right? So again, take my review with a grain of salt. But this is Last Days by Adam Neville here. This was our horror book for the month of December. I did a horror themed month for my book club for the month of October, as you do. And this is the book that won. And you know what? It's a cool setup. I was really excited to read this. I think that the overall story idea in here is really cool. And I'll tell you what that is. We're following this documentary filmmaker named Kyle. Kyle's fine. And anyway, so he gets this opportunity of a lifetime basically from this guy who's got this whole documentary thing basically set up for him. He just needs to go shoot it and do it. It's fully paid. And he has to go basically investigate this cult that has since been disbanded since the 70s. And he's going to talk to these former members and kind of see what's going on. And as you might imagine, he starts, weird things start happening when he's doing these interviews, exploring these places. And so the overall idea is really cool. And I was into it. I love cult stuff. I love film stuff. At least I thought I did. Because one of the things that actually really bothered me about this book is that there's a lot of gear talk and there's a lot of talking about like the sort of scenes that they need to get. And it felt a little bit unneeded and distracting to me. Like there would be times in the book where they would specifically say, we need this piece of gear. And they wouldn't just say camera. They'd say like, we need the Panasonic HDXC, whatever. And we're going to attach these Sennheiser HQ, whatever mics. It's just like, it was like specific gear was being mentioned throughout. And that just for some reason took me out of it. I was like, I don't know, just say camera or just say microphone, I think. So that was taking me out of it. The mentions of like, all right, we're going to need a wide shot here, a 2-camera setup here. It would be a dream to have a 3-camera setup. And it was just kind of like, oh man, let's move on here. But yeah, the other thing that I would say, it wasn't driving me nuts, but just kind of, I found it a bit much, is that I think this book was way too long. There's a lot of information on the cult. There's a stretch in this book where it is just info after info after info after info about this cult. It's so much information to the point where I was honestly getting a little bit lost and confused. And the ending kind of just turns into this action scene out of nowhere. There's like this new character that comes along that's like, and it's kind of like just does a total 180 at the end and turns into a bit of an action movie book. I'm not sure. You know, it wasn't my favorite read. It wasn't my favorite thing, but I do think that the overall premise there was strong. And I think that probably if this book was just maybe 150, even like 200 pages shorter, probably would have been super solid. Just felt a little bit bloated to me and not super scary, but I don't hold that against horror books. It's very hard to make horror books scary. And it's very hard to write horror books in general. I think, you know, it's one of the toughest genres because people are expecting to be scared. And I think it's really hard to make people scared through words. I really do think it is because I've read a lot of horror books and I DNF a lot of them just because it's like, it's not really working. It's tough. It's a tough genre to write for, but that's my review of Last Days by Adam Neville. I do think I'll give another Adam Neville book a try in the future. There's one he has called The Ritual that a lot of people say is really quite good. So I'd be into that. And if he releases anything new, I'll totally check it out and see what's up. But yeah, so that was our horror book for the month of October. And this is the other one. I'll just do both my book reviews now. This is the other one that I read. Completely different, sort of, from Last Days. This is called Butcher and Blackbird. I'm going to try and get like my, hold on, maybe I'll get my thumbnail here. Ready? This is what you're going to see. Okay. I just started, that's the first time I've ever done that. I was watching another creator person. Oh my gosh, look at that. I was watching another creator person and they do that during their videos. And I was like, that's actually really clever. I'm going to start doing that too. So there, I just did it. Okay. So this is Butcher and Blackbird. And this book is ridiculous. This is basically, there's these two people and they're like, I guess they're like serial killers, right? And they go after bad people. And they're both like very well known in the underworld, sort of like they both have their own like nicknames for what they do. They're very good at what they do, right? And they stumble into each other, and meet each other while they're both going after the same person. They show up at different times. Sloane is the woman. She's trapped in a cage. Rowan, you know, breaks her out, they go for dinner. Just what you do, right? And they basically kind of befriend each other and set up an annual game where they find a bad person to go after. The first person that gets them wins. And, you know, I thought that stuff was actually quite fun. There's like a Stephen King reference early on in here, a little Stephen King Easter egg. The cat from Pet Sematary is definitely the cat in this book. And there's a few other Easter eggs to other literary horror people as well in here. And it was cool. I think it's pretty cool. The thing about it, though, is, you know, when they finally do get together, it's so, like, I think that I might just be a little bit too awkward. You know, I'm like super comfortable. But even for me, you know, I was reading and listening to these scenes where they get together, and it's so descriptive, and it's so like I was visibly like, what are they doing? What? Whoa. Oh, what? Oh my God. Like, it was just like, and it just went on. And it was like the detail was just a bit jarring. The detail was a bit jarring for me. However, really fun, really fun book. I definitely didn't hate reading it. It was a fun time for sure. I just don't know that I'm the right person for these books. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm too awkward and it's just, it is what it is. But that was Butcher and Blackbird. This is also for the book club, actually. I'm hosting our spicy book of the month, and that was this one. And spicy it was. Doesn't really happen, actually, until chapter 17. I don't know if that matters to any of you that read these kinds of books, but it takes until about chapter 17 for them to do stuff, if that matters. Okay. Let's move on here. Actually, just while I'm on a roll here talking about the book club, I will mention that if you want to join my book club, it's hosted over on Patreon. I really do try to make it worth it for people. There's a lot of stuff on here, a lot of extra videos. It's where we vote on our monthly book club polls and what book we're going to do. I do just a lot of random photo posts, and I have a thing about my gear here, package opening. We do weekend wrap-ups where everybody kind of shares what they're reading, what they're doing. There are chats on the side where you can jump in, talk about specific books. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. We have a review page. We have, we call the Spicy Club, the Doorknob Club. We've got a general book chat here. And yeah, and you also get access to the Discord as well, where there are obviously a lot more chats going on and a lot more conversations happening. So yeah, that's that. That's my plug for that. And I'm going to stop. Also, please like and subscribe. Okay, so we're going to go into the 10. Oh, actually, before I do 10 before the end, I do want to tell you about Joe Hill, because I met Joe Hill on Monday, a few days ago. It was so fun, so scary. I was having a real nervous time going in there. I basically got invited to go speak with Joe Hill and do a quick video with him, and also with Linwood Barclay, who I haven't read any Linwood Barclay, but his talk was so great because after I met them and did a few quick videos with both of them, they did a big talk at a local theater here. It was sold out, tons of people there. And Linwood was really, really funny and very personable and just seemed like a great guy. And he was talking about a few of his books too, and I'm so excited to check them out, especially one. He was there promoting Whistle, which is his new one. However, he has another one he was talking about, he wrote in like 2008, called No Time for Goodbyes, I believe it was, where this girl comes home and her family's gone, and then it's 25 years later, and she doesn't know whether her family just left her or if they were taken away or what happened to them, basically. So that sounded really interesting. And he said, I think that was the #1 book in England the year it came out. So it was pretty popular. I'd never heard of it, but it sounded great. Joe Hill was equally awesome. Just so fun to listen to these guys talk about writing, talk about their new books. Joe Hill's new book is obviously King Sorrow, and I'm about halfway through King Sorrow, and it is fantastic. It is a chunky book. I think my copy's downstairs, unfortunately. I did get him to sign it for me. I got him to sign it over to my kids, so that when they're old enough, they might think that's cool. But he drew a little dragon too, which I think he does for a lot of people that when he's personalizing that King Sorrow book. But man, what a cool guy. I asked him if he's a spine breaker. I asked him for some book recommendations. I asked him what his next 10 years are looking like. And same, likewise for Linwood as well. So those videos will be posted over on my socials and stuff if you want to check them out. But such a cool thing. I was kind of, when I was sitting next to Joe, I was like, imagine like he gets a phone call and his phone just says like dad, you know? I'd be like, I can answer that for you if you want. Anyways, yeah, he was great. That was awesome. Let's do my 10 before the end here. Looks like the clouds came back, so I can open this back up. These are 10 books that, again, I am hoping to read before the end of the holiday break. I'm going to start with this one here because I know I'm reading this one starting today. This is Martyr by Kaveh Akbar, and this is supposed to just be so good. It sounds interesting. I don't know a lot about it, and I'm going to try and keep it that way because I'm starting it today. I like going into books at least somewhat blind. And I've just heard great things about this one. Kaveh is going to be joining the book club the first week of December, it looks like, for a chat. And so we decided to do this one as a buddy read right now so that more people can read it and be more prepared to ask questions, I guess, when he joins us. It was going to be, I'll get into, we've got the poll for December up already. And so this book was on there and it was crushing, but I'm going to take it out and we're just going to read it regardless. So that's what's happening. Martyr, Kaveh Akbar. I can't wait. Starting it today. Really, really looking forward to that one. So that's book 1 for my 10 before the end. This next one here, I'm really excited for because a few people I know have read it and just say it's fantastic. And it really does sound like kind of my thing. This is called The Road to Tender Hearts. The Road to Tender Hearts. This is about a guy who, I think he's like 60 years old or something like that. He's divorced, but he lives on the same street as his ex-wife and her new husband. And I think he goes over every morning for breakfast, and he's kind of down on his luck and a bit of a sad guy. So they cut out all of the bad news from the newspapers when they give it to him to read in the morning. And he finds out that his high school sweetheart's husband has passed away, and so he decides to travel across America to go and surprise her. And I think he brings his kids with him or something like that. It just sounds so bizarre, so funny, so weird, and probably quite heartfelt. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This is by Annie Hartnett. Yeah, I've got high expectations for this one, which is maybe not a great thing to do, but I'm pretty excited for it. This one here is called There's Always This Year. This is on basketball and ascension. This is by Hanif Abdurraqib. This one here is a nonfiction book. in which Hanif talks about growing up in Columbus, Ohio. And he was growing up in the era where like LeBron James were kind of making their staple, making their mark. And I think it's just a book on success and where you live. And, you know, I haven't read it, so I don't know the exact details yet, but I have heard it's just fantastic. And I'm really, really excited to read a book by this author because another guy I just hear about a lot, and I'm looking forward to it. My pal K-Dog loves him. So this here is Ann Tyler. This is an unexpected one because I'd never really... I've heard of Ann Tyler, but never have had like the strong urgency to go pick up one of her books. However, I heard of this one, The Accidental Tourist, from my pal B-Dog. And this sounds really cute. This is about a guy who, he's a travel writer, but he hates traveling. So right off the bat, I'm sold because I love weird characters like that. I think he's grieving the loss of his child or his wife, I can't remember, something like that. And then this eccentric dog trainer comes along and they meet, and she kind of pulls him out of this rut that he's in, I think. And it's kind of like a quirky love story or something like that. This came out in the 80s, I think. This is called The Accidental Tourist by Ann Tyler. I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I need just a sweet book. I need some more sweet books because, you know, I read a lot of sad stuff, although that does seem like it's going to have sad elements, which is fine because you can't just not have any sad in a book. It doesn't work. You need it. Okay, this is Larry McMurtry. This is The Last Picture Show. My goodness gracious. I'm excited for this one because obviously I love Larry McMurtry. I love Lonesome Dove so much. One of my favorite books ever. And it's weird, you know, I finished Lonesome Dove and I was like, wow, this is genuinely one of the greatest things I've ever read. And I just haven't picked up anything else by him since, which is weird, right? So I'm going to do this one. It's not super long, so I can crush this pretty quickly. This is a coming-of-age story, I believe, set in the 50s or 60s in Texas. Two guys graduating high school, reminiscing on growing up in a small kind of failing town or something like that. I think the local theater is closing and they want to save it maybe. But yeah, this is that one. I'm looking forward to it. It was written quite a bit before Lonesome Dove. I want to say it was written almost like 15, 20 years before he wrote Lonesome Dove. So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up, I guess, if it's comparable in the terms of writing style at all. But I'm looking forward to it. This one here, we got John Irving. This is The World According to Garp. I just want to read a John Irving book. Just a recent thing again where I keep hearing he's a super underrated author and people really love him. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. This is the one that, this one and Cider House Rules are the two that kind of like struck my brain the most. I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of those two things. Haven't seen the movies, don't really know what they're about, but I think The World According to Garp is going to be the one. I may switch it up. And do the Hotel New Hampshire here. We'll see. But for right now, I'm going to leave it at The World According to Garp. Next up, I do have a Stephen King book in here. Can you guess what it is based on the size of it here? It's the top one here. It's a heftier one. It's one of the more well-known ones, and it's one that I still haven't read. I'm currently reading The Green Mile, so that I'll be checking that one off. And then once I have this one in, I've read all the big ones. This is Under the Dome. Under the Dome, you know? I'm excited. This is really long. And I'm reading King Sorrow too. Man, those guys just write long books, eh? That's okay. Under the Dome is one I'm really excited for. I don't know a ton about it. The ending was sort of spoiled for me, but I actually don't really care. A lot of people hate the ending, and I was like, I actually feel like now that I kind of know what the ending is, I feel it's less like I got to worry about it. I can kind of just enjoy the story, which is all I really want to do. I don't care if the ending's kind of weird or lame, you know, fine. Now that I know what it is, it's cool, whatever. So Under the Dome is going to be the other one, and I've only got 2 left here, and that'll make 10 if my counting is correct. This one here is called The Shipping News. I mentioned this one in a few videos ago. This is by Annie Proulx. This is about a guy who kind of takes his kids, and I think his aunt as well, and they move to Newfoundland, Canada, where their ancestral home is, and they kind of just start anew. Why they are starting anew, I have no idea. I'm assuming I'm going to find out, but I love coastal books. I love starting fresh books. I love books that take place in Canada, because why not? You know what I mean? That's where I am. So, love to read about it. So this next one here is another kind of coastal book, and this is called Clear. This is by Carries Davies. This is going to be the quickest read of the bunch on here. It's definitely not too crazy. It's 190 pages, something like that. And this sounds really interesting. This is about there's this island, I guess, and there's only one guy living on the island still, and they need to clear him out of there. So this minister gets tasked with going to this island to kind of remove this guy. I don't know why they're removing him or what's going on. Obviously, I haven't read it, but I think the minister ends up getting stuck there, and the guy finds him, and that's all I know. So it sounds great. Sounds super interesting, super weird. So that's my kind of 10 before the end. Let me know what you think. Was that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no. What was 10? That was 9. Did I forget one? Which one am I forgetting? Oh no. I can't count. Oh no. That's my 9 before the end. What the heck? Did I only do 9? I maybe only did 9. I thought I did 10. I'm forgetting one. I'm totally forgetting one. It doesn't matter. Oh, House of Leaves. House of Leaves. Sorry. That's the other one. House of Leaves. House of Leaves. Yeah, I'm a couple pages into this one. This is another just monstrous book that I have kind of just been wanting to get into for quite some time. I want to join the club of people who have read this book. So many mixed feelings on this book. Anytime I post about it on the soch, people in floods are like, this is the greatest experience of my life, or I absolutely hated this. It's kind of one of those. It's kind of one of those ones. And I got to tell you, whenever a book gets that kind of feedback, I am that much more interested in reading it. So, very, very excited to take part in reading House of Leaves. Okie dokie. I'm going to tell you about snow. It snowed here a few days ago, and that's all I have to say. I'm feeling good. Oh, Christmas market this weekend if you do happen to be in the Hamilton area. My wife Lindsay is taking part in the big Christmas market happening at Theatre Aquarius. She's going to be selling her yarn. My wife sells yarn that she dyes yarn. She's a yarn dyer. That's what she does. And it's a big Christmas market. I think it's one of the biggest ones in Hamilton of the year. I think it's the biggest. And there's a lot of vendors there, a lot of makers, and it's a little fun time. They have coffee and stuff as well. And the theater is just a really nice theater, so you can go walk around. It's spacious, it's good. So that is happening. Oh, I wanted to check into this Breathless movie too. Breathless. Okay, there's this movie Breathless. Hold on. Oh my goodness gracious. This is by Jean-Luc Godard. Have you ever seen Breathless? This is a movie, I was obsessed with this movie in my youth. I used to watch it all the time. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's like a French New Wave movie. It's really weird. It's cut really weird, but it's so beautiful. I love it so much. And there's this new movie coming out that's basically about the making of Breathless. I can't believe this is a movie. I can't believe this. When I saw the trailer for this, I was like, wait, what? And it looks so well done. And I just wanted to mention it because if you haven't seen Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard, I would highly recommend it. It is so good. I just for some reason just connect with that movie. I love that movie, and I cannot wait to see this making of that movie. It's not a documentary either. It's a movie about making this movie, and it just looks so spot on. And I think it was Richard Linklater who did it. Was it Richard Linklater? I'm pretty sure. And he's good. He's done some things that are good. So, I hate Googling stuff while I'm on camera here. Oh yeah, Nouvelle Vague. I'm going to screw that up, is what the movie's called. And yes, indeed by Richard Linklater, which bodes well, Dazed and Confused, he's done some great stuff. I cannot wait to see it. So that is something that I'm excited for. I was just going to also mention the book club poll for December. We are currently voting on which book we're going to do for December. There's no theme for the month of December. I just threw a bunch of what are supposedly really good books into the mix here, and I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you the screen this time so you can see what it looks like. So from the top here, we have Terms of Endearment. We have Beloved, Under the Dome, White Teeth, Hyperion, The Trees, Master and Margarita, Shuggy Bane, Blackwood's Blue Sky, Martyr. As I mentioned, that's going to be taken out because we're reading that one now anyways. A Gentleman in Moscow, Lincoln in the Bardo, Miss Dalloway, The Poisonwood Bible, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, The Blind Assassin, The Shipping News. That would help me out. That's not going to win. White Oleander, Same as It Ever Was, A Garden of Earthly Delights, The God of the Woods, The Underground Railroad, Razorblade Tears, The World According to Garp. That would also help me out. And State of Wonder by Anne Patchett. And so, as you can see here, the books that are crushing are Terms of Endearment, Beloved by Toni Morrison, Under the Dome's doing quite well, The Trees by Percival Everett is doing quite well. What else do we have doing well? We've got A Tree Grows in Brooklyn doing really well. And we also have Razorblade Tears doing really well as well. So I can't wait to see what wins here. This is a multiple choice one, this first round. The top 5 are going to move on to a final round, and then our book for December will be chosen. And I can't wait to see which one wins here. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I think that's all I got for you today. So long as I didn't forget anything, I do make notes now, which is not like me. Yes, everything is good. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you being here. And, if you want to like and subscribe this to this whatever, that is great. If not, see you soon. And have a great time. Okay. Bye.